What is going on, YouTube? Tom here, and yes, cold start. It's actually cold out today. It decided to cool off in Florida, so currently it's saying it's 65 degrees. Feels like it's probably high 50s, low 60s. Everybody else is freezing to death. I like it. It's short sleeve weather for me. Finally can be outside without having to worry about sweating to death. But at cold start, though, especially when it's a little bit cooler out, it just sounds so much better to me than it does when it's warm. So yes, that is something you just are never going to get with this new electric Mustang, which, if you missed it last night, they unveiled it, and they did it in the form of a live stream on Facebook. Basically, now Ford's marketing department is worse than any cheater in school. They copy everybody else's marketing. So Chevrolet with the C8 Corvette did a live stream for the unveil for the C8, and all of a sudden Ford decided they needed to do one. But for those who missed it, yes, it was a live stream. They did it with Idris Elba, of all people. And of course, this kind of confirmed a couple theories of mine. But a little more on that in a little bit. So Idris Elba, of course, who's British, apparently in sort of the famous, before they were famous stories, turns out he worked for Ford as an assembler in London, which I thought was pretty cool. So I kind of have that celebrity connection to Ford, how he became a Ford fan in a way. So that was actually pretty cool. Then, of course, they unveiled the car itself, and they unveiled that they're going to have two versions of it. So a Mustang Mach E is going to have a regular, Mach E, and then there's going to be a GT variant. And of course, the GT is going to get more power, and it's going to cost more, but kind of knew that. And they're saying that it's going to be mid 3-second 0 to 60 with the GT version. They didn't reveal any price info, but rumors are going around that saying this is going to be in the low 40s, which is kind of cool for the regular version. They're saying the GT might go into the 60s, which I personally see that happening, give or take. If it costs any less, then it's going to directly compete with the GT 500. So, and of course, the big bombshell, though, is the fact that they are going to use the Mustang name officially. Because for a long time, this car was the Mustang-inspired EV. They were going to use the Mach 1 name. All the Mustang people revolted and said, no, do not use the Mach 1 name, that's a Mustang. Then they kept saying, well, it's going to be the Lightning. Well, then all the F-150 people got mad. They finally compromised and decided to call it the Mach E, which makes a lot of sense. Mach, to have that connotation of the Mustang inspired, of course, and then E for electric. Well, then they dropped this bombshell of it's going to be Mustang Mach E, which that's where a lot of people are angry about. So a lot of people are angry. It's like, wait a minute, this is not a Mustang at all. It's a four-door electric crossover. Myself included, I'm kind of like, wait a minute, I thought this wasn't going to be a Mustang. It's bad enough that it's going to make it Mustang inspired, and then the fact that they were going to make it, Mustang based, I thought, well, they're going to use the pony on it, and that to me was fine. Not ideal, but it's fine. So yeah, calling it Mustang, I think, is just diluting the brand, and it's going to confuse a lot of people. Now all of a sudden, all the Mustang people are revolting, and there's already even a Change.org petition to take the Mustang name off, which I kind of I saw that one coming. And I feel like that's going to happen eventually. I think Ford is going to do that, especially if this car is an honest failure, which I see it being with the Mustang name. I just don't see it selling as extremely well as they think it's going to sell. I just do not think it should have the Mustang name at all, in my opinion. My humble opinion as a Mustang owner. This is a Mustang. What I am driving now is a Ford Mustang. That electric car they showed off at SEMA, that everybody came and revolted about that, saying, well, that's not a Mustang because it's electric. Well, still a Mustang. It's an S550 with the V8 taken out and an electric drivetrain in its place. this crossover this is a soccer mom vehicle. And I would have been fine with it having the pony. I would have been fine with it being called the Mustang inspired SUV. But it should not be a Mustang, in my opinion. So I kind of see where Ford is going with it, though. They even put a picture out on their own website of a Mustang Mach E next to an existing S550 Mustang. And it kind of led me to that point of, I think this is where Ford is going to go. They're going to do sort of, that's going to be the daily driver Mustang, and then your S550, or whatever ends up replacing the S550, will be sort of, the weekend toy. And I kind of get that. That's a lot of people have, a Ford lineup now. I see a lot of people like that that'll have like an F-150 as their daily, or a Fusion as their daily, and then have a Mustang for the weekend. So Ford's trying to kind of convince you that the Mustang is truly going to be a lifestyle rather than, just a weekend car. And that makes sense. Call it sort of the lifestyle Mustang. I kind of see where the marketing was going. However, in the end, I just don't think that's going to be the case, because it should just not have been called Mustang. And yeah, this was the four-door Mustang, possibly even, that was being alleged a while ago. But even then, a lot of people kind of had the same opinion of it just should not be called Mustang. And, I get where Ford is going with it. This is going to be Ford's electric vehicle. This might be their first of many EVs, because they said that they want to do a lot more with EVs. The SEMA concept was kind of number one. Say, look, this is what the future of performance will be. Then they decided, all right, let's do this little crossover. If performance will probably end up being as impressive as they say. It will still probably run in the mid 3 seconds, 0 to 60. This is going to be a Tesla competitor. As soon as it came out, I thought, well, that's it. This is going to be a Tesla Model 3 competitor. Even if you look at the interior, where they did the screen layout, they're trying to lure away Tesla buyers. Personally, I think they would have been much better off doing an actual Mustang's interior. The double hump dashboard. I think they should have done, maybe the digital dash out of like the S550. It's current, but no, they decided to do more of the Tesla style interior. So I think the result, though, is it still does not hit all the boxes for the Mustang, to me anyway. Personal opinion, I still think it should not have been a Mustang, and I know I feel like I'm going to say that so many times through this video. Even the Mach E name was a little much. But kind of back to my earlier point of Idris Elba as the celebrity spokesperson with the car. I just feel like they used someone like that in order to say, hey, this is going to kind of show off where the Mustang Mach E is really, in my opinion, intended for. That's Europe. So I feel like, for me, this was not necessarily a car for the U.S. market. It's going to be sold in the U.S., but it's not really intended for the U.S. I think it's going to be intended to get sales for Europe, because in Europe, a lot of the European countries, as I mentioned in the last video I did of the electric SEMA Mustang, they all want to get rid of gasoline by various years. It's usually, I think the EU wants to get rid of it by 2040. So, it's like, so basically what they want to do is try to convince everybody over there, hey, look, the Mustang's not going to go anywhere. Because right now, the Mustang, even with its high price tag, sells really well in the EU. It's become the world's best-selling sports coupe, as they mentioned in the live debut. So, that being said, it makes sense to sell this electric crossover to get sales for the Mustang and get some people into that name. Now you build a fan base so that when the inevitable happens where they're going to have to do a two-door sports coupe Mustang, an actual Mustang EV, you've already got people into the brand. My opinion. I feel like that's what this car is for. And, in Europe, I guarantee you the rest of the model range for Ford is probably going to go electric sooner than later. Ford basically said internationally they want to go electric. So, same principle as they want to do it here, this is going to be the flagship. This is going to be number one. Do this car first. If it sells well, then they move on to their electric Mondeo or whatever they want to do. Which, here we'd get that as the Fusion. electric Focus, which is already Ford's really excellent selling car, that kind of thing. Rather than start with, an electric Focus, start with something sporty that's going to have a good sales base. Get the media talking about it, and then it'll do well. But, just to continue beating the dead horse, I just do not think it should be a Mustang. And I feel like what's going to end up happening is that name is going to come off. That they're going to change the name quickly to just Mach E. I see it happening. Car companies have done that before, where they just simply name something wrong. It's happened. It's like, I'm trying to think of examples off the top of my head. I know Nissan used to have the Pathfinder Armada that later became just the Armada. I'm sure there's better examples out there for names like that. Or McLaren, kind of on the opposite end, they had the MP412-C, which later just became the 12C, because MP412-C does not roll off the tongue very well at all. So, all the people who are mad about the Mach E name, being a Mustang, I sympathize with you. And all I'm saying is, I now have even less reason to want to sell this car. I don't want to sell the red car now. My Mustang, my 18 GT, I custom ordered this car in 2018, and now, I have more reason to keep it, because this car, I don't want to say this will go up in value, but if everything's going to go electric, then I see this car at least being desirable in the future. This will be, if this already is, this is ensuring that Mustangs, as they sit now, are going to be future classics. So, I have zero intention in selling this car, and now I have even less intention of it. And even if the Mustang goes electric, even if they decide to do a sports coupe electric Mustang, I might buy one in the future. I would keep this car as sort of the legacy Mustang, have my legacy V8 powered GT. Electric will not have that same sound. It'll definitely have the performance, but it will not have that sound, ever. But then I would have, my electric Mustang, for, the inevitability of gas either becomes hard to come by, or they charge a carbon tax. Either way, I feel like classic cars, for my generation, will end up being all of the gas-powered cars we have now. It'll kind of like how the boomers all have their muscle cars and carbureted stuff. Well, my generation gets old, all the millennials are old, our classic car shows will all be gas-powered cars. And it's one thing that they put the GT name even on this Mustang. That was another one. It's like, GT always implied V8 powered car, so that already is a little bit annoying to me as a GT owner. The big one I hope they never do, and I'm like, please Ford, do not do this. Do not put the Shelby name on this car. I really hope it does not get the Shelby name. Because right there alone, it'll be like a revival of the Shelby Conquest or whatever they made in the 80s with Dodge, where all of a sudden every Dodge got a Shelby version. I was like, I really hope they don't do things like that. I really hope this does not become a Shelby, because Lee Iacocca is already rolling in his grave over this car, and Carroll Shelby wouldn't be far behind if they end up doing a Shelby. Now, Ford has apparently attempted to do a four-door Mustang before. Apparently they had one in the 60s, but decided not to in favor of not diluting the brand. So, I don't know, that being said, let me know in the comments section below what you think about this Mach E. I'm curious to know if any of my subscribers, A, like it, or B, intend to even get one. Somewhere out there, there's already people actually on Facebook that have said they're actually happy to be getting one. So definitely I want to hear about that if anybody in my audience is going to get one. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you are stopping in for the first time, go ahead and subscribe, because I try to bring you all car news when I can. So definitely enjoy that and give my opinion on it. But anyway, take care, have a good day.